Hello everybody and welcome back to an episode on this channel. Things I kind of want to go over today. First of all, I want to let you guys know that if you guys are subscribed to this channel, I also have a Twitch channel which I've been recently starting to put content on and whatnot. You can check that out at twitch.tv/roundweaver. And as far as future updates for this channel and stuff like that, I'm going to be putting out. I'm going to try to be putting out more content. I kind of let this channel slide there for a while. But anyways, you're going to see a lot more content from this channel. World of Warcraft content mostly, because Legion has come up. When Legion hit, I didn't expect all the stuff that came with Legion. Like, there's like way so much stuff to do right now. I'm gonna try to get to the other Blizzard games like Diablo and StarCraft. I got a deal for StarCraft, but I don't have any videos in it yet. One of these days, I'm gonna just go straight through all the campaigns and record all that for the channel and stuff like that. Basically all the content. I don't think I'm going to do any PvP stuff or anything like that just yet, but there's a lot of games I need to get to, and I've been neglecting because of Legion, which is a good thing because there's a lot of stuff to do in Legion. But anyways, for the purpose of this video, what I wanted to do is talk about BlizzCon. Day 1 and Day 2, all the stuff that we heard about World of Warcraft. This is basically all about World of Warcraft. And kind of give what I liked about what they mentioned and stuff like that, as well as what I'd like, what people have asked in the Q&A part. But I kind of, I like that it was brought up, but I could give like little ideas and stuff like that to Blizzard if they're watching this, so that maybe they didn't think of this while they're trying to decide how to properly implement something or whatever. And then at the end, I'm going to go into a long spiel about an idea I had about pet battles, because pet battles and guild halls, because I know that they said that they want to do more stuff with pet battles, and at BlizzCon they also mentioned that, was it Alan Adham, or however you say his name, he mentioned that he would like to do something for the mobile. So I think you know where that is going right there. But anyways, getting back to this, as far as Day 1 was concerned for BlizzCon, they rolled out all this future content and stuff like that they plan on bringing in with the future patches. You got 7.1.5 coming out here soon on the PTR. It's going to be bringing time walking and other little cool things like micro holidays into World of Warcraft. Class balance changes, desperately needed. And I can't remember what else they said for 7.1.5, but yeah, that was mostly the big news that I got from that. 7.2? They're going to be adding the Tomb of Sargeras into the game as a raid, and there's going to be like this whole invasion stuff happening, like what we saw with the prevent. There's also going to be like kind of like we're setting up like a base or something on the Isle of the Tomb of Sargeras, and players from the community and stuff like that can choose how to which upgrade they want first, you know, and then it's kind of gated, you know, by the amount of time and effort that, you know, that server puts into it. What else is coming? The new dungeon that's coming in 7.2. It's going to be an extension. It's going to be, hopefully it tells a lot more of the story that's kind of going on with that. Whole Tomb of Sargeras, you know, it's going to be the upper half of the Tomb of Sargeras. The lower half is going to be the raid. So that's really good. You know, they're continuing to add, you know, dungeon content and stuff like that. Not just, you know, redone older dungeons and stuff like that. This is actually, you know, something I kind of look forward to and stuff. What else? They're going to be making it a lot easier for alts and alt catch up. I believe that was 7.1.5. Sorry, I'm going to be jumping back to that. They're going to make it easier for alts to catch up. You'll be able to purchase artifact knowledge books with order hall resources and stuff like that. Yeah, and then jumping back to 7.2. I think that's pretty much it. There's going to be a lot of other content. Oh yeah, hidden artifacts, class mounts, flying's finally going to be unlocked in the game. Really excited about all the stuff they announced, and you know, they also announced later on in Blizzcon. They didn't mention it so much in the panel, but they did mention, I think it was in an interview or something like that, they said 7.3 we're going to Argus. So don't know if it's going to be 7.3 exactly. It might be, you know, might be later on in the patch cycle, but in the panel they said, you know, after 7.2 we're going to Argus. But hopefully 7.3, hopefully that happens. I'm kind of looking forward to maybe like a zone, kind of like if you guys remember the Firelands when that first came out. You had this whole quest line through Hyjal, and then, you know, you had to stop this stuff from happening, and you gain, you know, rep or whatever, or I can't remember exactly how it went, but you eventually were able to open up a portal to the Firelands and then go in, and it was this entire zone, you know what I'm saying? And it had its own like daily quests and stuff like that you could do on it. Hopefully they do something like that with when we actually go to Argus, instead of, you know, having it just like, I don't know, something that's not really a zone, you know what I'm saying? It's not really, you know, it's just a raid or a portal to a raid, or, you know, I don't know, it's like Niskara. Niskara was a perfect example in this expansion. A few of the order halls, you know, sent you to this other planet called Niskara that had previously been taken over by the Legion, and, you know, in order for the order hall campaign to, you know, progress through that, you know, you had to do some stuff on Niskara, which I thought was really, really cool, and I really, really liked that content. And also you got to see, you know, a place that you haven't seen before, and it was a brand new place that, you know, was added to the lore. But as far as Argus is concerned, you know, I'm looking towards a little bit more. Hopefully, it's a little bit more impressive than Niskara. You know, a lot more area instead of just. I think it wasn't even a zone. It was like maybe like a half a zone, or, you know, something like that. It wasn't even that big. But yeah, hopefully they do something like that and have daily quests or some sort of objectives that, you know, you got to push towards, you know, the palace or wherever where Kil'jaeden and Archimonde are, you know, at, or whatever. But anyways, that was pretty much it for the day one stuff. I kind of got a list. I kind of got a list on my screen right now. I'm kind of going off of, and I wrote so many things for the Q&A part and the other ideas that I I just kind of like, I'm just gonna shoot. I'm gonna shoot the patch content from the hip. The patch content's out there on MMO Champion and stuff like that. If you want like specific details and whatnot that are going to be coming in future patches, but I just kind of gave you a broad stroke overview of what I'm personally excited about. The patches and whatnot. Moving on to the Q&A and stuff like that, I kind of cherry picked some of the questions that were on MMO Champion that I kind of personally liked, and I'll just kind of go down the list for you. Crafted gear's going to be getting better in 7.2. They don't know how exactly, but hopefully I think they mentioned something along the line of maybe possibly adding craftable legendary items or something like that. But they weren't gonna be pigeonholed to a specific answer on that. And I realized that they don't want to make promises they can't deliver, or maybe they find some other cool way of allowing you to target certain legendaries. They also mentioned stuff, like catch-up mechanics for alts and stuff like that. They mentioned artifact knowledge and reputations. And I don't know what kind of what do you call it, thing they're going to be doing for reputations or anything like that. But maybe we'll probably see another Medallion of the Legion or something like that was in Warlords of Draenor that just kind of give you a flat, straight out, 1,000 rep increase for all the factions and Legion or whatever, something like that probably. There's an idea that I kind of scribbled down here. Where is it? Oh yeah. Yeah, dual rep basically. My idea for like, because a lot of people, ask for account wide rep, and then there's another end of that spectrum where players, want to earn the rep on, their alt character. What I'm thinking is Blizz could add like a dual rep system, like every rep in the game has 2 bars, one for account wide and one for the character's rep level, and your account wide rep is always going to be the highest obtained across all your characters on your account, whatever level that bar is at, and then that basically the account bar for that rep is basically going to be it's going to allow you to use items that require rep, like toys or mounts or stuff like that. It'll allow you to use like those items in the game without having the rep on your alternate character. That's my idea of that. And then your personal rep allows you access to the the vendor items and stuff like that. Can you purchase that item if you don't have rep, or say you're looking for a piece of gear, or like a blueprint, or whatever for your profession, you actually still have to level up that rep on that alternate character in order to purchase those things. But once you've already purchased it and learned it, as far as account wide stuff, like I said, toys and pets, um, the account or you'll be able to use it on all your characters. Basically, is what I'm saying. So that was kind of my idea for dual rep, and how that would work. What else? Let's see here. Oh yeah, base mounts getting racial mounts getting an update. They talked a little bit about that. I guess they updated the Torn Kodos to be higher with the modern WoW graphics and stuff like that. They updated the quality of those. Honestly, um, I understand, that it takes a lot of art and a lot of doing to, go back and, update those old mount models that look really shitty compared to, what you're wearing, the graphic detail of all the gear and stuff that you're wearing. They do have a little bit of nostalgia factor and stuff like that, but, at the same time, the wolves, the racial wolves that you get as an orc, do not look like the wolves that came, the wolf mounts that came out of what do you call it, Warlords of Draenor. Those mounts were friggin' awesome. And honestly, I didn't feel like riding. I got Horde alts. I'm mainly main Alliance, but I got Horde alts, and for the longest time, I did not want to ride any of the wolf mounts. Like they just look crappy as hell. But as soon as I got that white wolf from the garrison, that garrison building, was it the stable? Yeah, where you get if you get all the mounts, you get an extra mount, the white wolf or whatever. Once I got that shit, I just started using that on all my works. I was like, hell yeah, finally a wolf mount that I can actually ride and not feel embarrassed to ride around. Yeah, certain mounts like that, yeah, they definitely need an upgrade. And I'm glad that the class mounts that they're going to be coming out with in 7.2 are, the color scheme, I guess, are going to be starting to, I guess they're going to change, with your spec, from what I understand. I think that was an interview or something like that, in between the panels. But yeah, they talked about that. As far as they're going back to all these they're going to be creating these new class mounts and stuff like that. I'm wondering why they don't just update the older paladin and or was it not shaman, but paladin and warlock mounts. I mean, those mounts were freaking awesome. I mean, they still kind of are awesome, but the graphics are just really low. Like the armor and the just the horse itself, it sucks on a paladin. It really does suck. I mean, the glowy effect on it is really really cool, but I kind of wish that it was a lot better. I think was it the paladins that came out later on, like the Draenei Paladin mount and the Torn mount. That is a lot better graphic wise than the other Paladin mounts. Honestly, what else? If you want a reason to put those updated class mounts for Paladin and Warlock in there too, you could always you could always reintroduce that whole quest line from vanilla too. Like I already did it on my Warlock, but I wanted to do it on my Paladin, but I didn't have enough time. By the time I got around to my Paladin, like they already got rid of those quest lines, and like significantly reduced the cost of mounts. So I was like, oh shit. Sorry, my language. What else? Yeah, I think everybody knows that they did changes to account-wide stuff like uh, was it the 2 dungeons, Quarter Stars and Archway. Yeah, they're just going to be. I'm glad that they mentioned that they're going to be doing more to make alts a lot more alt friendly. Because 2 reasons I play alts. One, because I like, the playing the class every once in a while, but also 2 is because I like them for professions, not so much for bag space or anything like that, but just having them for professions. And I got some ideas on professions too. Let's go down the list though. Okay. We already covered that. Oh yeah, they mentioned that they're not going to go back and update old armor sets like Tier 1, Tier 2, and stuff like that. They are drawing inspiration from the older sets though to create their Legion sets. I think an example of that is if you look at the Nighthold Paladin set, it's very reminiscent to the Tier 2 Paladin Judgment set. It's got a similar feel to it, honestly, but it's different in a way that it just makes it its own unique set. I'm glad that they brought some of the more popular sets, and drew inspiration from that to create these newer sets. I really love that. Good job, Liz. I love you for that. Yeah, basically that one, I'm glad that they brought it up because it was one of those questions that needed to be answered, and hopefully, maybe later on they change their minds on that. Let's see here, raid armor. Oh yeah, they mentioned that raid armor from the Tomb of Sargeras and patch 7.2. Yeah, 7.2 is going to be very heavily inspired by the Tier 6 sets from Black Temple and whatnot. So, Black Temple and the Battle of Mount Hyjal set. Let's see here. Yeah, I really like those sets. Hopefully, some of the armor sets from there I didn't really care for. The Hunter set, well, I never really care for the Hunter sets because they look disgusting. The only Hunter set that I actually cared to even look at was this expansion. That was the Nighthold set. Blizzard, please keep on that train of thought. I really like the high fantasy look that you went with on the Hunter set. I'm looking forward to leveling up my Hunter next, just so that I can run them through and get that set. Please, I've said this on one of my previous streams, but I'll say it for this video's sake. A lot of those Hunter sets look like you make you look like the guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you're just cutting off their skin and wearing it. Just creatures, you're just cutting off their skin and wearing it like some some crazy guy. But anyways, yeah, they never really looked Hunter. The only Hunter set that I can say that actually looked like a Hunter set was the Mist of Pandaria challenge mode set, where you kind of had the wolf pauldron, it was a lot of fur and stuff like that. I really like that set. I kind of wish between the Nighthold set and then the Mist of Pandaria challenge mode set, I really wish you take inspiration from those, moving forward with the Hunter sets, because Hunters they're more basic. They're not, they're the fantasy of a Hunter, they're not so flashy. They're more kind of like a rogue a little bit, with the car, the hood, and they got the pet, but that they're kind of like the ranger. That's how I envision. Um, that's how I envision the hunter is more like the ranger and less like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. Um, I'm a sucker for high fantasy stuff like that. Um, I think I've said it on my streams. I don't know if I said it on my YouTube channel that I used to play EverQuest 2 when it came out, and I was, that has a lot of traditional high fantasy kind of archetypes and whatnot on it, and I kind of like seeing that Blizzard getting back to a little bit of the basics and stuff like that. I couldn't even get behind tier 1 and tier 2 of the hunter. Honestly, I know that tier 2 is the Dragonstalker set for hunters is really a favorite of some of the hunters, but I just couldn't get behind any of the sets really. They look like I'm not even going to go into what they look like, but crap in my opinion. Anyways, moving on. We got a lot to get through, so if you're not bored or if you haven't turned me off, please bear with me. I'm doing this after I got done watching BlizzCon, and it's kind of late right now in the recording. It's almost past midnight right now, so we're just gonna get to this. Let's see here. Oh, they mentioned holidays. Trying to make holidays more level agnostic, meaning that it should be just for max level, because some holidays they got the dungeon or whatever that you go into, like Hollow's End. They got all the Hollow's End stuff, but when it comes to like getting the Headless Horseman mount or whatever, fighting the Headless Horseman and that Halloween deal, that's exclusively for max players, and they update that every single expansion. Well, since Time Walking came out, they can actually make that that event holiday dungeon at basically anybody can do it. Really, they can scale people up, down, whatever to suit that content, which is really nice. Excuse me. They mentioned there's a guy at Q&A that mentioned letting engineers craft submarines or other crazy stuff that because we got helicopters. Engineers can make helicopters. And it was at Mist Pandaria, or not Mist Pandaria, Cataclysm. You had if you're Alliance, you had a Gnomish submarine that you went into Vazir with initially. So the technology's there in World of Warcraft to make submarines or personal submarine mounts. Anyways, they just need to translate that into something going forward. Hopefully, they have some really cool stuff for that ahead. Maybe in an expansion with Ashara as the main villain, or something along those lines. The more Naga focused underwater zone kind of expansion. I don't think they're gonna do an entire expansion around an underwater zone, around the Naga or whatever. But they could change their mind. You never know. Moving on. Let's see. They mentioned they're gonna be making pet battle dungeons. That's extremely cool. I really like that idea. Some pet battle dungeons. You go in and it's just wave after wave of pet battles basically, and You know, you can find some cool little pet battle items or whatever, and boss pet battles. You know, they'll drop like some cool stuff for your pets. That'd be. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I I love the pet battles side. It very reminiscent of Pokemon. I love the red and blue when it came out. I feel old when I say that, but a lot of people don't remember the old Game Boy, you know, red and blue, especially the younger people. But you know, the older people, you know, I'm in my 30s right now. A lot of people around my age group, you know when that came out. Um, and I really, really love that gameplay. It was simple, it was fun. You focus, you know, it had a little story to it. Nothing really complicated, um, but you know, it felt really satisfying to do. Um, Even if that was all it is collecting pets and battling them, and leveling them up. That was a big thing in that game, and yeah, it was. It's a worldwide phenomenon. I mean, people today still love Pokemon. You know, you got people still buying the games. They're still coming out with games. That's just crazy. In my opinion, I don't even know how many Pokemon are up. It's up to now. It's got to be in the thousands. I don't know. Probably you know scratching that 10,000 you know mark. But damn, that's a lot of Pokemon. Sorry, my language again. What else? Class accessories. Um, Chris Robinson, the art guy on Blizz, he talked about. There was a question that got brought up about class accessories, and um, this is, I think, a few years back. He first mentioned them, I think, in a blog. It was on the World of Warcraft website, and he showed us pictures of, you know what they are, you know, just class specific, you know, accessories that, you know, nobody else has, and you know, you can show your prestige when you get these by, you know, upgrading them to become more and more, you know, impressive over time by doing, you know, content and stuff like that. But then it really went dark. I mean, the subject really went quiet there for a long, long, long time. And I'm not going to say that I brought it back up, but I did post something on the forums raising the question about those a while back. And after that, you know, I started seeing people, you know, start asking these questions, you know, every time, or I wouldn't say every time, but a lot more often than they were asking about them. I think it was even mentioned at last year's Blizzcon or something like that when they were talking about Legion. Um, yeah, when they were talking about Legion and the stuff like that, Chris Robinson actually stated that, you know, he wanted Legion to have class accessories, but when they were doing artifacts, you know, the artifacts, you know, kind of came with, you know, a certain level of accessories to them. So, you know, and that was kind of, you know, that kind of answered that right there. I mean, the hunter, you know, quiver and the gun or the pouch and stuff like that. I don't think they have those accessories in the game right now, but I know that a lot of belts that we've been seeing lately in the game have like those accessories, you know, especially like, you know, the pouch or something on the belts. You know, you start seeing like more utility belts that have that kind of sort of thing on them. So that, I mean, I'm glad on that, but you know, you know, having, you know, let's ditch you know, the class accessories, you know, like on the armor, because some of the armor, you know, can be, you know, you can be a druid and have like rogue armor on, and what's a druid going to be doing with like a belt that has rogue stuff on it, really? It's a little weird, but I wish they'd take that off the armor and make it its own little subsystem where you can choose to pursue it if you want to, put little cool rewards and upgrades and stuff on like that on it. It doesn't have to be tacked on to your armor or anything like that. But I'm glad that they brought it up, and if Blizzard's watching, yes, I can only speak for myself, but yes, personally, please continue forward with this class accessories idea. I'd like to see that as a feature, probably in a patch or something. I don't think it's going to be a huge major feature or anything like that. Don't try to make it out to be, because it doesn't need to be. I mean, it could easily be a highlight in a major patch like 7.2 or something like that. Yeah, you don't need to revolve anything crazy around it, like an entire expansion worth of stuff for it. Just slowly roll out stuff like that, class accessories and customizations over time or whatever like that. Let's see here. Yeah, and you can add them. You can probably even add them to like the what do you call it, the character customization screen. If you're wanting to transmog that onto your that specific tomb that you worked hard on. You can transmog that onto your character and it'll show up on your character. You can just use the current transmog system to add these class accessories, and then ways to upgrade them and unlock better appearances and shit for them. Sorry, language again. Let's see here. They mentioned in the Q&A that they're looking at ways for players to target specific legendaries and stuff like that. I think they talked about this in the past. It's not like really any big secret. So we'll just move on from that. Okay, we're gonna go into things that they mentioned in the Q&A, but things that I've typed out here that I kind of want to share with you, my ideas. How they can improve that. I'm glad that they brought these questions up. I'm kind of sad to see that they were kind of really not answered, or maybe they didn't want to. Like I said, sometimes Blizzard doesn't want to be pigeonholed into like giving a direct yes or no answer, because they have yet to figure out how to implement it and stuff like that, or even if they want to implement it. But I'm glad that these questions got brought up, and I'll go through them. First one, backpack slots. They brought up the default backpack that you get when you're at level 1, the one that you can't swap out at all. I guess there's a myth around the office that that it was really hard to remove because it was hard coded. I think it was in a previous BlizzCon they mentioned this too. It was hard coded into the game, but I guess one of the devs said that it wasn't as hard to change as they thought it was going to be. But as far as my ideas for that, I think Taylors that are watching this video are probably going to cheer for me. I don't know. Maybe he'll throw food at me or something. Throw food at the screen. But Taylors, I think Taylors should get a new pattern. And what this pattern does is it allows you to craft a bag pouch. Essentially what this is it'll be something that tailors can craft and they can sell in the auction house. And what I would do is I'd treat that default bag like a piece of gear, like a crafted piece of gear. And every time you use that bag pouch on your default bag, it increases the number of slots on it up to a certain point. You know, there's got to be a cutoff point. You can't just, you know, keep on upgrading it indefinitely. But yeah, that could be one way to approach that. Or, you know, if it's not that hard to change at all, and they can actually allow you to swap it out for one of the better bags, that'd be cool too. You know, just, you know, if you want, you know, one of the Warlords of Draenor huge bags from, you know, from Taylor crafting from that, you know, you just, you know, take that out and take out the default bag and throw one of those in where that is. That's another idea right there too. So they could approach that a couple different ways. But anyways, that's my ideas on that. Going on to the next question. Let's see. They aren't sure about making gathering professions not count for profession slots. Basically, every BlizzCon, I think they bring up, you know, making everybody, you know, a player brings up, you know, the question almost every BlizzCon for past couple BlizzCons, anyways. The question about allowing players to have every gathering profession. So instead of taking up a profession slot, you know, you just have that default, which is one way to go about it. But they could also, you know, if Blizzard, you know, is a little bit reprehensive, giving everybody, you know, every single every single gathering profession, they could make it to where, you know, every crafting profession has the appropriate, what do you call it? The appropriate gathering profession attached to it. So you're basically combining a crafting, all the crafting professions with their respective gathering professions. See, like you picked leatherworking. Well, when you picked leatherworking, you also gain the ability to skin, you know, or say you picked blacksmithing. Well, you'll get mining bundled in with that profession, you know what I'm saying? So you can have two crafting professions, but you still won't have, you know, all the what do you call it? You still won't have all the gathering profession. So that's another way they can go about it. But honestly, you know, they need to loosen that up, because, you know, it's a little ridiculous when, you know, you can stop the end of the world every expansion, but a freaking Silverleaf from Teldrassil, you know, is giving you trouble like that. That's got to be like an epic leaf. You can't pick a Silverleaf, but you could stop the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? You know, how does that make sense? But yeah, it's crazy. You know, there's ways that they can do that, and it just, you know, I wouldn't say seamlessly, but there are ways to combine the profession stuff, you know, to where, you know, it's a little bit more streamlined. You know, if someone wants to dual crafting professions, you know, instead of just doing, you know, the gathering professions, you know, they have that option. You know, if somebody wants, you know, skinning and herbalism, you know, all they got to do is take the respective, you know, they can take leatherworking, and they can take alchemy, and they can just do the profession part of it, or the gathering part of the profession. They don't have to go into the crafting deal, so it gives them flexibility, you know, on the characters and stuff like that. But anyways, those are my ideas on the gathering professions. Now, moving on to the next question they brought up in the Q&A. artifacts and artifact appearances, and if we're going to be, moving forward with artifact appearances in the later expansions. And they did say, I'm glad that they brought this up, and they stated that, whatever appearances that you unlock for your artifact, that's going to be, they're going to give you those appearances that you unlocked as transmog options after Legion, which I'm so thankful for. I'm so thankful for, because I've been wondering, we're putting a lot of effort and hard work and sweat and all this stuff, into powering up our artifacts and making them as strong as possible. And then next expansion, where does that kind of leave? How good are these weapons that we're replacing them with? You know what I'm saying? They did mention that also, that they're going to be, they're going to make that transition from artifact weapons to probably the old way of getting a green, or whatever. That has way better stats. They're probably going to do something along those lines. But they're going to make the transition, make sense, basically. Let's see here. Continuing on with that question, my response to that is, why even lock them at all? Because a lot of those hidden artifact appearances are, tied to specific things you do out in the world, not necessarily raid content or anything like that. Stuff that can be just easily, soloed, like 2 expansions ahead, in the future. Why even lock them at all? People, if a player wants to go back and do that content, I mean, it's not hard content at all. Like, I got the corrupted Ashbringer stuff. Now, all that was is time gated. You're time gated into getting your artifact knowledge level, and then you're time gated into getting the required materials for it, and then you're time gated to fishing and rare spawn and this and that. You ain't got to lock those things. If a player wants to beat themselves up and somebody that joins in the next expansion, wants to, think that corrupted Ashbringer is a really cool thing to have, they can go beat themselves up in Legion and do the exact same thing that we did, and it's not going to be any more. It's not going to be any less hard than it was, before. It's still an RNG grind. Same with, look at the Pharaoh hidden artifact appearance for Druids. You just had to roll those freaking dice, and when you're in your cat form in the Dreamway, and hopefully, you got to hear the screeches that led you through the portals to do that. That was just a roll of luck right there. That wasn't anything difficult. Look at the the Hunter artifact weapons. I mean, you can buy them off of a vendor. Why not just leave just let people, don't lock them. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to lock them after Legion. If people want to continue to go back and get a certain appearance that they like, just let them. You don't need to do this whole locking bullcrap that you've been doing for the last couple expansions, like the ring and the cape. I mean, they were just unnecessary. I mean, really unnecessary, especially since you had to throw them away once you reached max level. Because the stuff that you're getting in dungeons was practically better. So, and then they disabled the legendary cloak effects. Basically, all the legendary effects got disabled once you hit max level in the next expansion. So, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why they, you feel like you need um, to lock that content when there's a lot of other content that becomes a hell of a lot more rare to get when that expansion's over with. But when it's current content, you're seeing like 100% drop rates for heroic mount or something like that in a raid or whatever. But after that expansion's over with, it's like less than 1%. And it's like takes forever to get. They already got rare content like that. Every expansion's like that. You don't need to add artifact appearances to that. I mean, especially when somebody that can come into Legion right now, log on their character, do the short little quest line for the Ashbringer, just the base Ashbringer, not even the upgraded one. Not even talking about that one. Just the base one, and in the next expansion, they still get it. They still get it. If I'm reading this correctly, that's a skin to the that's a skin in the Ashbringer. It's a base level skin, but it's still a skin. And if you're moving all the skins forward with into Legion or beyond Legion expansion, why just leave them alone? Just leave them alone. Anyways, getting off that subject, we're going to the next one. Withered Army training. Somebody brought that up. Tanking it's too easy. Healing it makes it a lot harder. There's excuse me. There's this imbalance depending on what role you're using to go into this scenario with. Honestly, I don't know if they should change it. I mean, it's pretty fine by itself. I'm glad that I got brought up though, because it leads me into what I want to bring up is they should expand on that feature. I really love the Mr. Pandaria, chest run on the Isle of Thunder. You get a little key to take you into the portal to do the chest run. I really like that. That was awesome. I'm glad that they brought it forward with the Withered Army training. They tweaked it and changed it a little bit, but it's essentially the same thing. Glad that they brought that forward. I just wish that they expand on it. After you 100% complete it, unlock an additional hard mode where you can go in and all the chests are up, even the large and medium ones are up, and you can go through there and pick whatever you can get all the chests, or I wouldn't say all the chests because there's a finite number of withered, and I'm pretty sure you can't get all the chests, but it creates some luck of the draw. What do you get in this chest or what do you get in that chest? And they can put like really cool rewards and stuff like that in these respawn chests, after you 100% complete it. They can also, I just kind of want them to expand on that, system. It's already there. All they have to do is add like an extra level of content to it. Oh yeah, the score basically is pointless after once you reach 400. I've gotten past in some, I think one run I got 715 score. It doesn't make a dang bit of difference, anything past 400, because once you get 400, you get your you're going to get all the rep for the Nightfallen faction that you're going to get out of it, which is like, what is it, 425 rep from all the the consumable items and stuff like that you get out of the run. That's all you get. I mean, um, but what I'd like to see is, making, say somebody doesn't want to do the whole, somebody wants to experience the entire um, Suramar story quest line, but they don't want to have to grind up all that rep to Exalted, um, on another character. They just want to, want to do the storyline, want to soak it in, and just do it, as much or as little as possible that day. Now that was a different story, you know, in live right now, but what they could do with those little rep tokens is it only pops once every 3 days. What they can do with those rep tokens is probably drop higher rep tokens for the Nightfallen and make them tradable. Basically, they bind on nothing. They don't bind on use or bind on equip. I don't care. You can trade them to other players, which would make it a kind of a lucrative thing to do. But also, if you have like a crap ton of alts, you can do the withered training on your main, and then just just send all the rep tokens to an alt or something like that, and power up its rep level with the faction. That way, you don't have to stop at a certain point. You can just keep on going forward and forward with the storyline. So that's an idea for that. Yeah, but hopefully, like I said, hopefully Blizzard sees this and they take my ideas, and hopefully use at least some of them. That's my wish. Reason why I'm doing a video instead of putting all this up like on a thread or something on the World of Warcraft website, forum threads or whatever, because all this information that I'm talking about is just way too long to be put in, typing out all in a thread. There's just so much content I want to get through, and I think it's a lot easier to make a video and listen to a video than it is to actually just kind of gloss, your eyes starts glossing over as you're reading like a 2-page long thread of all the stuff. So I decided to make it in video instead. But anyways, moving on. Next question that got brought up in the Q&A, cross-faction cooperation. Blizzard hates it. They want to keep class, or not class, but they want to keep faction identity. But I don't want to speak for Blizzard. Probably some people think might be a good idea, but I think they're a little bit scared of what that might mean if they open those floodgates. But here's the thing, and what, I worded it so perfectly on my little list that I made out right here that I'm just gonna read straight from it. There could be an event in the game like the Dark Moon Fair where it lasts a week and only once a month. In order to unlock this, what this event will entail is basically it will allow you to group up with the opposing faction either through your friends list or through queued content, Um, but like I said, you'll have to unlock this event first. It's a week-long event. You know, pop up that um, that this event's up, and you can go into group content with the opposite faction. But to unlock it, I got an idea about that. Um, in order to get this mercenary mode, you'll have to do a quest line that involves going to an NPC of the opposing faction that is friendly or neutral to your faction. So if you're the Alliance, I'm pretty sure that I've seen quite a few, Tauren, Orc, and Undead, and Blood Elf NPCs that aren't hostile to me. I can still talk to them, but they really don't, want to talk to me because they're opposite faction. Either that, or they talk to me like, you go into Booty Bay, you see goblins, you see a lot of horde faction on the Alliance side, kind of race, various horde races in that port. So it's not unheard of to find a race from the opposite faction as yours, to help you learn their language, learn their racial language. And anyways, what the quest line will involve is you go into to learn all the opposite factions, racial languages, and then what that leads you to, once you've done that, and then the quest line continues, and you're kind of led to this shady NPC. He's kind of like this. There's no shadier NPC than a goblin. Goblins are just naturally shady. So I'm gonna say goblin. You go to this goblin, wherever this guy is, that this Blizzard decides to put him in there, and he's like, hey, come here. I know about this group of players. I know about this group of players that are interested in the abilities of a mercenary here. And if you decide to do this cross faction kind of content, like queuing up for dungeons and raids, and like LFR. I'm not saying raids. I don't know. That's still up in the air in my opinion, but LFR at least. You go into the LFR or go into the queuable dungeons and stuff like that, or somebody from your friends list, you can join their group and do their content. But this guy gives you the ability to do this event, and when this event happens, that shady NPC, he gives you a quest or something. You do X amount of like the dungeon events and stuff like that, that happen, that go through a cycle, every week. This shady NPC, he'll give you a quest to do on this event that happens only once a month, and you can only see it once you unlock it. But he gives you this quest that gives you some cool reward or whatever like that for doing it. And that's it. And then the rest of the month, you can't do merc stuff like that. The only reason I bring up this mercenary stuff is because they already have the option to do this in PvP. You already opened the floodgates, Blizz. You already, there's an NPC down in the sewers where you can go. You can talk to him and go merc mode and basically join the opposite faction. in doing PvP and stuff like that. So just so you can get shorter queue times. And I think um, this would solve that also. Some of the queue times um, when you're queuing up for dungeons, or you're queuing up for LFR, and you don't want to wait like a half hour or hour or whatever it takes to get in, depending on your role that you choose. This could help speed that up quite a bit too. Not only that you're putting in for like the opposite faction to join and help the opposite faction, but you're put in a queue with your own faction as well. So say dungeons are really busy during the Merc event, on the Horde side, but they're less so on the Alliance side. The Alliance side is doing something else, but the queue times are a lot better on the Horde side while you queue up for Merc mode. And if you get the Horde, you get the Horde. It's kind of a roll of the dice, but it still counts towards this you doing a mercenary dungeon because you opted for it. If you opt for it, then you'll get credit for that quest whenever it pops up. So that's kind of my idea on how that can kind of work like that. Plus, it makes sense lore-wise, because look at Warcraft 3. I may not remember all the campaigns, to precise detail, but I do remember a little mission in Warcraft 3 where you're the Alliance, specifically Arthas, and you're trying to race to the boats to prevent your crew from leaving Northrend because they got orders to return, and you have to go through this gauntlet to get to the boats to burn them. But in order to do that, you have to hire these mercenaries, and a lot of them were like ogres and trolls and stuff like that. So it makes sense lore-wise, that your faction's not always keeping up with what you're doing. They ain't got eyes on you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You could sneak a little mercenary job to the opposite faction every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying. But anyways, enough of that. I've kind of droned on long enough for that. Moving on. We're almost to the end of the questions here. We've got 2 left. Alright. Here's a question that got brought up. Guild housing. Blizzard doesn't want it to turn out like Garrisons, and I understand that. Garrisons was like a huge feature that just sucked players in and didn't want to let them go. But they also don't want to make it, trivial or anything like that. So they want to figure out some kind of balance for that. I'm going to get into more of that, kind of shoot more from the hip later on. We'll get back to that question because that's a lot more involved, and that's a lot more involved kind of way of doing that kind of thing. I do have ideas of how they could do guild housing, which I want to share, but like I said, we'll do that for later in the video. We'll move on to the last question here. Let's see here. Oh yeah, somebody asked in the Q&A if there's any secrets left in the game. Blizzard did mention there are a few secrets. Nothing huge like the Kosamoth level kind of secret, but there are still a few secrets left. People haven't discovered or anything like that. What I say to Blizzard is, if if it's not Kosamoth level, you know, you're not, you're, you know, you're doing these little secrets. Um, what do they? First of all, what do they unlock? You know, but more importantly, you know, even if you don't want to tell us, you know, what they unlock, can you just at least point us in the right direction? Say, hey, there might be something interesting in Val Shira at a certain town. You know, a guy's got a lead on something there. You know, doesn't have to be specific, just kind of a vague, you know, little arrow pointing where we need to go, and then, you know, people will take it from there. You know, I'm sure that, you know, players will go to, you know, to that town or wherever and talk to every single NPC, you know, and read carefully through the text, and, you know, and start, you know, picking that apart, and trying to figure out where that leads to, you know, for the unlock for whatever it is. You know, just do something like that. You know, maybe in maybe in a, you know, some little post or something like that on the forums, or, you know, it doesn't have to be in a forum. You can just, you know, do it on, you know, the main World of Warcraft deals, like, you know, things that you did not know, or whispers, you know, secret whispers from a little bird, or something like that says that you know, you might want to check this area out. You know, stuff like that. You know, like I said, I'm glad that you brought up, you know, how to obtain the frost artifact, though. That was a big hint drop right there. We'll be keeping an eye out on those world bosses, and things to come on that level. So don't you worry. Thank you for that. But these other ones that don't really, you know, I guess you could say that they really kind of don't matter. Just, you know, drop us a little hint. You know, just enough to get the ball rolling. You don't need to, you know, go through a whole detail or anything like that. Just a little hint. All right. If you've been watching the video so far and haven't turned it off, thank you for watching. Right now, what I want to go into is ideas that I've had, and it's going to go into the guild housing. But what I want to talk to you guys about right now is my idea that I have for a mobile device pet battling game that's in the World of Warcraft. We have it in World of Warcraft, but, you know, they've talked about, you know, making a mobile pet battling game, you know, that syncs up with World of Warcraft or whatever, however that happens. But when I was watching BlizzCon today, they start, you know, throwing out these, you know, all these cool things that they can add and ideas and stuff like that. And when I was watching BlizzCon, the ideas, you know, the level of inspiration just started flowing, and it started flowing, and I couldn't take it anymore. I had to I had to cut off BlizzCon early after the panel that I last wanted to really see ended. After that, I was like, you know what, I'll watch the rest of the panels later. Right now, I'm gonna, you know, just get all this down. That way, I can get this out here, and talk to you guys a little bit about what my idea of how this mobile game could be, what this mobile game could be like. And any of the ideas that I have, please, Blizzard, just feel free to take them. I'm giving you, Blizzard, permission to take these, good or bad, whatever. If it doesn't, if you don't use the entire thing, if you use bits and pieces or none of it, but it inspires you to create this mobile pet battle, you know, game from World of Warcraft. You know, just feel free to use it however you want to please create this game. But anyways, here's my idea how this um, would kind of go, and I kind of broke these up into bullet points where I talk about certain things about the game, of kind of what my ideas are and how you know how it would how I envision it to be. I'm I like to think of myself as a really good concepter, but after reading some of these, some of you may agree, some of you may like, what the heck is this guy thinking, But anyways, here's my ideas. I'll start off with the story. Now, the story, you play as a character in the on Azeroth and in Warcraft. But you're never really good at the whole fighting thing personally, you felt you heard the call, you heard the call of the world of Azeroth crying out for heroes and stuff like that. Well, like I said, you're never really good at fighting, yourself, but you heard about this great pet battling thing that's going on. So what you want to do, or what you thought could help out Azeroth, is taking these pets and turning them into legends and creating a legend around your own self. And the storyline is going to be kind of custom to this game. It's not gonna, it's not gonna be, you go to every, World of Warcraft zone and it's the same in the game, in this mobile game as it is on the World of Warcraft. They're you almost want to make it its own game in itself. So the story for the game itself should be unique, my opinion, anyways. Certain things in the game could reference World of Warcraft, but it shouldn't. The pet battling game for the mobile device should be its own unique, contained universe thing. As far as the themes for this, just like World of Warcraft is, it's lighthearted, with World of Warcraft style graphics. I'm not saying like the high end level, but kind of like I took some of this inspiration from watching videos from Pokemon Sun and Moon, but I've seen what they were doing in Sun and Moon. I was like, you know what? They can actually put Azeroth, the entire freaking Azeroth, into a mobile game now. They got 3D models. When I first started writing this, writing what this would be like, I was kind of using my Pokemon Red and Blue glasses when I was looking at this. It's a top down, ups for north, left, right, down, kind of thing. But I realized that games have evolved since then, and in order to compete with something like Pokemon Sun and Moon, you gotta kind of have a 3D. You gotta make this mobile game 3D too. But I'll get back in. I'll get back into the controls, because I want specific. I want to see specific kind of controls with this. That might be. I don't know if they're going to be too hard to pull off or crazy or whatever. But we'll see, I guess. Going along with the themes, pet battles in World of Warcraft is turn-based. This game should also be turn-based. That way, you still have the strategy and stuff like that. You're not diluting it like Pokemon Go, where you're just furiously tapping some big bull crap, and there's no real what do you call it? There's no real skill level to it. You know, I missed that skill level from the original Pokemon games. But and I really like how they did that with World of Warcraft, you know, and they should keep on that line, you know, don't you know, just translate it directly from World of Warcraft into the mobile is what I'm asking. It the story for the game or the pet battling game doesn't have to be official lore. Could potentially be, you know, an alternate universe where pet battling instead of the class based system was um, more popular instead. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being a hero and beefing up yourself with all this stuff, you know, you can beef up these pets. Anyways, moving on. uh, we're gonna move on from themes. The world. What I envision the world of this game to be on the mobile device is basically, in a nutshell, World of Warcraft. Just, you know, the Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. You're seeing it in reverse, but Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms shrunken down. All the zones shrunken down. The entire map shrunken down to be able to fit on a mobile device, so you know it's not overwhelming to it. You know, make sure that you know the zones are properly laid out like they are in World of Warcraft, but you know that they got their features, because there's always like this major eye catcher in every zone. Like even Elwyn's Forest, even though it's seems like this boring forest, but the eye catcher for Elwyn Forest, you got that big old circular lake with the island on it off in the east end, and then you got Goldshire. Those are kind of like staples of Elwyn Forest. And then of course to the north you got Stormwind City, but those out of that zone, those I think are kind of the more important things to carry forward. When you shrinking down these things. What was it? Duskwood. You got the big old tree in the mountains in the center, and then you got the basically keep the landmarks from World of Warcraft. Keep the towns and the landmarks in World of Warcraft and translate that into the shrunken down, kind of more digestible size, more what do you call it, mobile game appropriate size zones. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I already mentioned that 3D similar to the new Pokemon games. Also similar to the new the Pokemon franchise, tall grassy areas. Tall grassy areas. You go into the tall grassy areas, you have a chance to find wild pets or Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just like in how it is in World of Warcraft, where they're just like they're scattered around, and if you want to click on them to do pet battles, you can, but you can just completely blow past them, ignore them. Not in the mobile version. The mobile version, you have areas where there's grassy areas, where you can farm the grassy area if you want to, and get the Pokemon in that area, out of the grass. The whole tall grassy area should work kind of like pretty much like Pokemon, in my opinion. Like I said, Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms should be the first continents made into the game. They've always been going back, harkening back to the Warcraft 1. or not even Warcraft 1. I think Warcraft 3 when we actually found out about Kalimdor, but apparently it's always been there. But in the original vanilla world of Warcraft, all you had was those two continents. Just start off with them for right now. Other areas can come in later updates, or come as downloadable, or not downloadable, but purchasable, expansion packs to the game. You know what I'm saying? That you can purchase, and then when they become available, kind of like your Hearthstone, you purchase it, and then when it becomes available, you can squeeze it into the game servers and stuff like that. Let's see here. Oh, you ain't gonna load the entire world at once. You'll be able to pull up like a map or something like that. You'll be able to pull up like a map and whatnot, and see the entire world, but you won't be able to like when you're walking, and you're going into these, you're walking through the 3D world. You're not loading the entire, loading the entire game at once. You're just loading like a little area, like how it works in World of Warcraft. It's seamless. You're not going through these loading zones or anything like that. You're loading like a invisible area around you, wherever you are on the map. You're just loading that content, and then further out, you see stuff off in the distance, but it's not really loaded. It's just there for appearance wise. Do the same thing in this game too. Mobile game and stuff like that. You see stuff off in the distance, but it's not close enough to where you can actually run through it and then interact with it. Let's see here. Going down the list. No, we're still on the same one. Tamers. World of Warcraft threw in a lot of tamers. I think the tamers in this mobile game should reflect that. A lot of those fights are fun, especially when I was leveling up my first my first pets through that. I think it was in Mist of Pandaria. Yeah, did a lot of pet leveling in Mist of Pandaria. That was a great time. But as they added more and more content, I had to kind of put that off to the side. I really wish I kind of kept up with that, but if you guys make if Blizzard decides to make a mobile game, we can actually do that while we're away from World of Warcraft. But anyways, moving on. The character customization. My ideas for character customization are this. You can pick your faction, Border Alliance. You can pick your race, and what that does is it determines where in the world do you start. And every starting area, like just in like World of Warcraft, you got your whole starting area, but that starting area in the mobile game is replaced with pet battle tutorials and stuff like that. And the entire world is storyline revolves around pet battles instead of what's the huge things, the other storylines and whatnot that are happening in World of Warcraft. This is just pure pet battle stuff in this mobile game. Moving on. Pick your faction, pick your race, pick your hairstyle, pick your hair color, pick your face, pick your skin color, and name it. That's it. It shouldn't have the customize as much customization as it does in World of Warcraft, just because it's a mobile game. But you should be able to differentiate yourself from say you picked a troll, as your 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 pet battle hero or whatever that's on the game. You want to differentiate that your troll from somebody else's troll, not just by name. You got like 100 duplicates of the same troll that look exactly the same. The only thing that difference is just their name. I mean, that would suck. Just a little customization. Just a little bit. Nothing too deep or drastic or anything. And honestly, I wouldn't even call World of Warcraft's character customization deep. Because compared to the things like EverQuest 2 or other MMOs and stuff like that, where you can customize pretty much every aspect of your character. They like to keep the archetypes and whatnot relatively the same in World of Warcraft. No fat trolls or anything like that. So they're all skinny and they all talk like this, man. Really poor imitation there. You can laugh at me if you want to. But anyways, moving on. Customization. Probably, I already mentioned that. If you want to, another level to character customization could be in the game itself, gear and titles. Now, don't freak out when I say gear, because I want to get into that later on. Essentially, well, I'll just get into it right now. Gear, you only get for your character that you create, the pet battler, the pet battler / pet tamer, whatever you want to call it, the character that you play, going around collecting all these pets in the mobile game. He's not like a warrior or all these other classes or anything like that. He's not going to need like a huge breastplate or pauldrons or anything like that. Nothing to like the level of World of Warcraft. But the gear does bring in some cool options for like stat sticks, basically. So, and when I say stat sticks, they're basically like you can craft or you can buy a shirt that has a stat on it that increases stats for your active pets. Say, wearing this shirt, gives them, say you put on a shirt or something and it's really loud, like it's got like streaks and lightning bolts and everything, coming off of it. It's just crazy looking, and World of Warcraft is pretty crazy sometimes, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. But you got this, and when your Pokemon or your I keep on saying Pokemon, when your pets look at it, it gives them the feeling that gives them an adrenaline rush or something like that, and you see that that their speed is increased, because you got this certain shirt on with your active pets. All your active, your three pets in your team, your active team are, their speed is increased, just by a flat amount, always on, all the time, or it could increase, their attack power or something like that, something that gives them a passive edge over wild Pokemon. But you're not having to like throw this gear onto the pets themselves. You're getting this passive effect from the gear that you're wearing, and you can explain it however you want to. You can say that it invokes a feeling to increase the speed, or you can just say that it was enchanted and or the shirt was enchanted by some enchanter, and yeah, um, just being near, it radiates an aura around you that gives your pets this effect. your 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 own pets this effect, not the enemy pets. But yeah, you can explain it however you want to. This with World of Warcraft, the fantasy kind of aspect of World of Warcraft and pet battles. Pet battles. There's crazy pets out there, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that you can come up with some crazy explanation of how this works. But instead of just equipping your pets with these stat boost things, you wear them, and it creates this aura or whatever that increases stats for your guys. And you can work out whatever you can figure out that whatever number stats you feel are are cool enough, like one stat's attack power, one stat's speed, and maybe one stat is leech or something like that. Like every time your pets attack, they gain a little bit of health back, or stuff that just kind of changes up the normal gameplay of the pet battles and stuff like that would be really cool. Or has a chance to dodge, even though that pet doesn't, necessarily have dodge or anything like that on it. Like, what do you call it? Something that, dodges, like, really nasty attacks. Just stuff like that. Anyways, getting back to what I was talking about, as far as customization of, your character in the game, you can do it through gear and you can do it through titles. Also mounts, and I'll get to that later on. Actually, looking at my list, I'm getting to it right now. Talking about travel in the game. Pokemon have bikes. But since this is Warcraft, we have racial mounts. Like whatever race that you decide to pick, that racial mount, say you pick a human, you're going to get a horse. Say you pick a troll, you're going to get a raptor to ride around. It increases your speed and, allows you to get from point A to point B really quick. Like I said, they have it in Pokemon games. No reason why they can't have it, in a World of Warcraft pet battle game. Also, I think I split this travel up, so and I didn't mean to. It just happened. But I created another bullet point down here for flight paths. So I'll talk about that right now. In the same flight paths in World of Warcraft are going to be translated into this game. So you got a flight path at this location. It should be at that location inside the shrunken down zone in the game. Now, granted, some zones might not need more than one flight path in them, unless they're on opposite ends of the zone. But if one's even slightly in the middle, you really only need one flight path. That's just my opinion. Take it or leave it. Whatever. Now, when you get on a flight point, here's the thing. How it would work in the mobile game, how I see it working in the mobile game. You talk to the flight master. He brings up a map. You tell him where you want to go. Click on where you want to go, and then it puts you on a Griffin if you're in Alliance. Puts you on whatever the Horde version is. I don't even know what to call those things. Puts you on the Horde version of that, and then you start flapping and getting off the ground a little bit, and then it fades out. And then when it fades back in, or when it fades out, you go into this loading screen. When it fades back in, you're at your destination. It's not going to take you forever and a day to cross these distances like it is in World of Warcraft. You know, it should be like that. And not only does that, you know, that that helps, that significantly help the game as far as player experience too, because if you're on the back of a mountain, you're looking over this land and stuff like that, the land of Azeroth, while you're flying, you know, you're gonna be moving through these actual zones pretty fast, and you know, it doesn't bother me in World of Warcraft because it's on a PC that can handle that kind of power. But when you're talking about a mobile device and its computing power and the way it just chews up its battery and stuff like that, even with games, you know what I'm saying? Games are really, you know, battery intensive. You don't want to be, you know, on a flight path forever just to get to your destination, and then whoops, you disconnect because you're out of Wi-Fi range or something like that, and you know, it's just it's going to be a quality of life for mobile users only, just to make the flight paths and travel from flight point to flight point really quick and easy. That way, you know, nobody's stuck, you know, an entire day on a flight path just to get from one end of the continent to the other. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my idea how travel should work in this mobile pet battle game. Now, going back up to where I was originally at, pet battle stores. You know, we got pretty much got a pet battle store in Dalaran in Legion. You know, you can buy toys and items from it. You know, you see a bunch of pets around and stuff like that. They're in like cages or tanks and whatever. And it's a store you go to for basically all your needs in as far as pet battles in World of Warcraft is concerned. You know, pet battles, you know, don't really need a whole lot in World of Warcraft. They're not like a feature that's the main feature of World of Warcraft. They don't define World of Warcraft, but when you're talking about a mobile game that's all about pet battles, pet battle store should be pretty much in every major city, even the large towns, and for the smaller towns, probably an NPC that sells, you know, pet supplies would be good enough. And what I want to go over is a list of what I perceive that could be potential things that could be added in the game. For the player gear wise, you know, these stores could sell, you know, shirts. Now this is the equipment slots that I have in mind for this game. Shirts, pants, gloves, boots. That's it. 4 things. You don't need a whole armor set, you know, 8 the 8-piece armor set plus rings, trinkets, neck piece, and you know, the kitchen sink or anything like that for pet battles. But like I said, you know, you can use these things on your character as like stat sticks for your pets. You know what I'm saying? Give them that little extra edge. You can also, at the pet store, you can get potions or pet enchantments. And don't freak out when I say that either, because I'll explain that. And yeah, yeah, I already talked about the locations where they should be located and stuff like that. So we're pretty much, you know, I'm pretty much done explaining, you know, the pet store concept of that. Um, um, what I want to also bring up in this game is there should be some sort of crafting. Now, I'm just pulling this straight from World of Warcraft, but it's not going to be as in depth as it is in World of Warcraft, but it's going to be it's going to have enough heft to it for a mobile game. Here's my thoughts on that. Yeah, like I explained, all the crafted gear that goes on your player character is going to help your pets, and all the crafted gear that you can make in this game is exclusively for this game. You know, you can't, you know, trade it or anything to World of Warcraft, or maybe you can. Maybe that's something that you want to decide later on. You know, maybe having a set that you can equip to go and do pet battles with in World of Warcraft is something you might be interested in doing. I don't know. But anyways, here's my idea in crafting. You know, tailoring. There's four major crafting deals that I want to hit up, and they hit up the major things I wanted to add into this game. Tailoring in the mobile pet battle game makes pants and shirts. They can craft you know, greens, blues, epics, you know, whatever, you know, they need to, and you know, a variety of different things for that range as well. They can also craft bag pouches that increase how much your bag in the mobile pet battle game can hold. Instead of getting like five bags, you know, you just get this one bag, but you can upgrade it by adding these, you know, bag pouches, you know. So say, you know, you want, you know, 10 extra slots or something like that for items, or even 5 extra slots, you know, for items and stuff like that, or crafting materials. You know, what do? You can become a tailor. Become a tailor and get you make this stuff for yourself. But here's my take on the crafting system in this game. Every profession has a perk to it. Well, that perk is basically it allows you to gather the necessary materials for that profession. It's very simple. You don't have a gathering profession, they're basically gone in the mobile pet battle game, except for, you know, subtle hints. The perk for tailoring is that, you know, you get tailoring kind of materials and stuff like that can drop, you know, after you do a pet battle. You know, or certain kind of pet battles. You know, maybe they gotta be humanoid pet battles. Say that, you know, because humanoids in World of Warcraft, you know, drop cloth for tailoring. So maybe, you know, you gotta you know, kill, or yeah, you gotta beat some humanoids, or you know, you can add to that list, whatever, or however you guys want to do it. But that's just an idea. Next profession, leatherworking. Leatherworking makes gloves and boots. Makes sense, right? Gloves, leather gloves are really handy. and you don't want your boots to be made out of cloth. But anyways, moving on. They can make gloves and boots, and you can also leatherworking also has the ability to make crafted bag pouches to increase your bag size. The perk for leatherworking is it allows you to loot. It basically allow you to find skins. Like say you get done. So you get done taking out pet. Say you win a pet battle or something out in the wild. What this perk will do is after you do the pet battle and stuff like that, and you win, there's gonna be a little touchable node on the screen right in front of you where you have that pet battle of a carcass. You touch that carcass, and it skins it, and you get some random leatherworking materials out of that. Easy. You don't have to have the skinning profession or anything. It's all streamlined into leatherworking. Alchemy be the next one. Makes health and combat potions for pets. The perk with this is it allows you to pick herbs in the world. Every now and then, while you're going through the zones in Azeroth, you'll see some herbs, probably in some tall grass. See some herbs, or maybe just out, wherever, and you can pick them for the crafting materials. Now, what I want to get into is these combat potions. Obviously, you want a health potion, so if you need to get your pet if you need a combat health potion in the middle of battle, you need to get them up right away. But you only have a limited supply. Say you only have a limited supply to hold so many potions, before you have to go back and get more. This allows it to not become like a spammable item, and really makes you think. When's the best time? Should I blow this health potion on, say, this wild Pokemon or whatever, when I can just run away, or should I use it for, say, like a boss battle or tamer battle? And I'll get into boss battles later. Let's see here. Combat potions. Combat potions would be an extra thing that increase stats. You throw out a potion that gives your active combat pet a speed boost or attack boost. Stuff like that. Be really helpful, and then you can get crazy with it. Like it gives a damage over time effect on your character, where after you give that combat potion to your pet, it burps, and that burp is like really stink, and it just damages. It does like an AoE damage to the combat pets. Or say you give them like a combat potion that gives them extra dodge. So say if they're like a really slow battle pet, that just gets hit all the time, doesn't matter what it is, they just get hit and wrecked. But they hit hard, but you want that defense too. This will kind of allow you to craft some combat potions that have stats or useful effects on them that can help make your favorite pet that you want to pet battle with that much better at doing stuff that it's not necessarily like a baseline designed to do. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Sorry, getting starting to lose my voice a little bit. Let's see here. Makes oh yeah, alchemy, baseline. You pick herbs. I already talked about that. Enchanting. Enchanting's the next one, and I kind of want to go into that. Enchanting, you can make enchants that empower your pets, like how like enchanting works in World of Warcraft. You can enchant like a little scroll or something like that, and it gives like stat boost or whatever to your armor that for your neck piece or your weapon or piece of armor or whatever like that. And enchanting in the mobile pet battle game though, enchanting empowers your pets, and what this could do is it could, I suggest could, so don't freak out on this. It's just an idea, but it could when they're enchanted, they could grow up basically. Like, say you got like a little bird pet or something like that. You throw this enchant on them, and suddenly they're this huge bird that's like beefy as hell, and they get their stat increased with that too. Or you could do it this way. When you enchant them, they get this little special effect on them, that you can recognize that they're enchanted with a certain enchant, and it just gives it, instead of having to create all new art assets for like their ultimate form or whatever, it just gives them the stat boost. And these enchants, they don't last, forever until you get rid of the piece. These enchants for your pets are a little bit more short term. They have a duration on them. So when you enchant your pet to this evolved form, they only have like a certain limited time on them before they devolve back into their original state. And there's a reason why I bring this up. It's because I also want to bring raids into this. I'll get more into raids here in a little bit. But anyways, the enchantments will, for this game will give them, stat boosts that greatly empower them, the pets, but only for a limited time. They can't be used in PvP whatsoever, or unless you're gonna make it for World of Warcraft too, but I doubt it. So that's why I say just make it for PvE content only, not PvP. That evolved versions of these pets would just be a little bit too OP. The perk for enchanting allows you to obtain crafting mats for enchanting. Enchanting has the disenchant ability where you can disenchant stuff, gear and stuff into dust or into shards. That's always kind of been the staple for enchanting in World of Warcraft. Well, enchanting in here, you still got the dust and shards, but maybe you can get it. You probably get it through the same means, because you got the tailoring and leatherworking, making gloves, boots, and pants and shirts. You can probably disenchant those, or the loot that maybe after a pet battle, it drops there's a boot in one of the pet's mouths or something like that, and it drops, and you find the boot, and it belonged to an old wizard, and it has like a +1 or something like that on a stat. Like, oh, okay, well, crafting materials, disenchant, boom, you got your enchanting materials. Or, the materials could be like, I don't know, obtained some other way. There's other ways to get enchanted materials. But I'm not gonna go into. I'm not gonna sit here and speculate forever. I kind of want to move this along because this video is kind of getting really long right now as it is. Other ideas for professions that I didn't add. You could have first aid potentially. You can, have that as one of your like a secondary stat. How secondary stats are in World of Warcraft. You can have it for this mobile game. You have first aid. Anybody can make bandages, whether you're an alchemist with health potions or not. Say you want leatherworking, but you don't want to. But you want to make health potions because they're really, really useful. Well, first aid. Cooking. If you don't want to be an alchemy, you can cook food. And you can get that through fishing or pet battles or buying it off of vendors or something like that. That's another thought. I'm just spitting ideas on that. Now we're going to go into raids. Here's my ideas how raids are. You know how the raids are in World of Warcraft? Same location. How that will work though? As you move through the raid, it's like moving through. Instead of seeing a bunch of mobs everywhere or in certain locations, you're basically moving through this map, and instead of running into mobs, you're running through this map, and it's like running through tall grass. You don't know when it's going to happen, but it will happen. The more you move on this map, you're going to get into a wild pet battle, and it'll be up to Blizzard or not. Or I mean, it'd completely be up to Blizzard, but you can use this or not. But maybe the trash pet battles in the raids and stuff like that could be pets that you can get, or it could just be pets that you're required to fight before you get to the boss. But it will have all the notable bosses in every raid. All the bosses will be there, and instead of fighting pets, instead of the boss throwing out pets or anything like that, because that's way too weird, you're using your pets themselves to fight the boss. Now that's where the enchanting thing comes in, where you can get these enchants to enchant your pets to fight these bosses. They may or may not take on an evolved form that are tough enough to take on the boss. Also during boss battles, instead of just having one pet battle out, or instead of having one pet out to fight with, all three are active instead. All three are on the team are active at once when you're fighting a boss, because bosses are harder and pets a lot of them look pretty weak sauce, honestly, and it's kind of hard to imagine Ragnaros going down to getting his butt whooped by I don't know, a frog. But say if that frog turned into like this huge Battletoad looking creature when he's enchanted, then it's possible. It's possible. I'm not gonna say it's not possible, but it'd certainly be a lot funnier. But it'd be a lot funnier and a lot cooler if something like that happened. and then after the effect wears off, they go back into the frog state or whatever. But yeah, that's just my ideas of how that would work. Um, and the reason why I say that these enchants on these pets will be temporary is because that's going to be the benchmark for the enrage timer for the boss. The boss doesn't do the enrage himself. The enrage for the boss encounter happens if your pet is in combat too long and can't get the boss down in time before the enchant wears off. And once the enchant wears off, that pet's going to go lose all its stats and shrink back down to its regular size, and it's going to have regular pet battle stats on it, and it's not going to be up to snuff to take down a boss. So that's how I kind of perceive like these enraged enrage timers. There we go. That's how I perceive those things to work in this pet battling game. Now, it kind of preserve it. Not only does this preserve a World of Warcraft feeling, but allows you to get these battle pets that are off of these raid bosses and stuff like that, which I think are really, really cool. Because they have them in World of Warcraft, but how would you do this in a mobile game where it's pet battles? These pets going up against Ragnaros would be kind of crazy. But when you take into account, them getting this like ultra form or whatever, or this crazy enchant to take on this boss, then it's not so out of the realm of possibility, I guess you can say. So that's my ideas on how raids could be translated from World of Warcraft to this mobile pet battle game. Alchemy and enchanting, I can see that having being the primary go-to professions for the mobile game. Oh, and did I mention you can only pick one profession because it already comes with a gathering? You can only pick one profession, one primary profession. But if you want to add in like first aid and cooking as secondary professions, that's cool too. But what I'm trying to do is just kind of simplify it down. Make it very pet battles centric, so it's a lot easier to digest. So say somebody in the future like heard a bunch of negative stuff about World of Warcraft and this and that. They're too scared to try it, but they really love Pokemon. They really love mobile games. They get their hands on this. They start playing it. They start seeing these areas that are from World of Warcraft in the game. They familiarize themselves with the game. They really love the game, and they come to find out later that this whole World of Warcraft that they've been playing on their mobile game, this little pet battle thing is actually in the World of Warcraft. So they're like, hey, why don't I get a subscription and check this out? They pick up some enchanting or some leatherworking. Doesn't seem so out of the realm of possibility. They kind of know the profession, what they should be doing with. They kind of have a little bit of leg up than the person that just goes through the starting experience when they play this game. You know what I'm saying? They have a little bit of a leg up on that. And plus, if they want to see the Ragnaros or all these other bosses in their full glory, their full ability set. They can play it on World of Warcraft. But anyways, that's that's my idea on that. But anyways, I got a few more things. I'm gonna try to go through these as quickly as possible, so we can get through this. Achievements. Basically, if the basically the achievements from World of Warcraft should be in the mobile pet battling game. All the ones that have to do with pet battles and pet battling and collecting, they should all be, translated and synced up from World of Warcraft to this game. I think that's a necessary thing that should happen. That way, if you earn, say you're doing these raids and you're earning the rated with leashes, say you earn the rating with leashes on the mobile game instead of World of Warcraft, that's part of your account. That's account wide. Boom, you get the reward from that. Trading, obviously you're gonna have pets. You have pet collecting, and you also have pet trading in World of Warcraft. Pet collecting and pet trading should happen like it is in World of Warcraft. It should happen in this game too. Also, when you're pet collecting, when you start off in the game, start off with a pet that you get from the tutorial in this mobile pet battling game. Shortly after that, how I see it, you should be able to pick up a quest if you're connected to your Battle.net account. You should be able to pick up a quest that leads you to this NPC that has this mysterious mage portal opened up. And what that does is allows you access to your pet battle collection from World of Warcraft. Since your pet battling character from the mobile game isn't the same character as your hero from World of Warcraft, your hero from World of Warcraft, lets you use these pets while he's off adventuring and you're off, taming these pets. That's kind of how I think that could work, story wise. You know what I'm saying? But when you get these pets, from when you get these pets from World of Warcraft and bring them into this mobile game, there's a thing that happens is that the content, like the level and stats of the monsters as you're going through these zones and doing the quest lines for this mobile game, the pets that you have to fight, the wild pets, the tamer pets, they're all going to scale up to whatever level your highest your highest is in your collection that's in your team, your three pet team. Whatever the highest pet is in that three pet team, that's what the mobs, or that's what all the pets in the world are, and the tamer pets are going to scale to. So it's kind of like do you want to just go through it without having to bring in your WoW collection of pets, or if you do bring them in, you still have adventures to go through that are going to be as challenging for your skill level. That's kind of how I see that system happening. It also could, there being World of Warcraft, pet. Um, you know, you got pets that you collect up in World of Warcraft, but you also got this mobile pet battling game that's inspired by World of Warcraft. That could lead to some exclusives for the game. So, like, say there's like this pet that's in the mobile game that's not in World of Warcraft, and vice versa. Say there's pets in World of Warcraft that aren't available for the mobile version. It encourages. It can encourage trading on that level too. Which gets me into trading. Self-explanatory. Works like Pokemon. Works across, the pet battle game and World of Warcraft itself. I don't know if there should be any restrictions on that or not. You got Blizzard can figure that out. Auction house. There's two ways I can see this auction house happening. Because you got crafting professions, so naturally you should be able to trade them, or if you don't see anybody online, you should be able to sell them on the auction house, and somebody can go check them out later, if they need to. But should have an auction house just all pet centric. There's two ways this can happen. You can either sync up the World of Warcraft, sync up the World of Warcraft. What is it? Auction house to the mobile auction house. Excuse me. Wow, getting tired. You can sync those up and just allow these items that you get from the mobile pet battle to make their way into World of Warcraft, or allow the professions in World of Warcraft to craft these things and put them on the auction house so they're viewable in the game and as well. Or you can just create an exclusive auction house for the mobile game. That's two ways you can solve it. But the mobile game auction house will have its own server, dedicated to, whoever's playing the mobile game, have access to it. That way they can, it's just all exclusive stuff for the game itself. Bank, same as in World of Warcraft, holds your crafting materials, holds your gear and stuff like that. Your Hearthstone, you should at least have a Hearthstone. Say you need to get back to some place, you're putting basically a miniature version of World of Warcraft in this game. But say you're out in the middle of nowhere, and you need to get back to a certain place that you set your Hearthstone at. Bam, work exactly the same as World of Warcraft. Inns. The way I see inns working is it should allow you to recover your pet health, but also allow you to change the cycles between night and day. And the reason for that is because I remember back in the day, the Pokemon games, there's only certain pets that come out at night. There's only certain pets that come out during the day. I think they continued on with that train of thought in Pokemon Go, and probably still continuing on with it with like the newer Game Boy games and stuff like that. But I think there should be a night and day cycle where certain Pokemon show up during the day, certain pets, I should say, battle pets. Not Pokemon, but certain battle pets should show up during the day, and some should show up during the night. I think there is some like that in World of Warcraft. I can't be 100% sure. It's been a long time since I went World Pet Battle, wild collecting and stuff like that. I think that's how they work now in World of Warcraft, but don't quote me on that. When you're collecting wild pets, that is, and some only drop on certain holidays too. And some only drop on certain weather conditions, so you need to have holidays and weathers, weather conditions in the pet battling game as well. Um, and then if you're out in the wild, you're not close to a town or something like that. Tents could be a thing. Leather workers and warlords of Draenor could craft in their garrison. They had the item called tents, and basically, you set that up, and this item you could set up and allows you to gain rested experience from where you're at, and you can log out instantly instead of having to wait for whatever. So that was kind of handy for leather workers, but they tents could sorry. Tents in the mobile game can work just like inns. If you're out in the field, it'll elicit the same effect as an inn. I already mentioned Flight Pass. PvP. You can challenge anyone on your friends list or queue up for a PvP pet battle at any time, anywhere. Don't matter what it is. I mean, just like in World of Warcraft, you can do this. Not with your friends. In World of Warcraft, you gotta invite your friends. Then they gotta be like right in front of you. You gotta find each other, or whatever. But if you invite your friend, instead of inviting your friend to where you're at in the world, you can just, you have a battle, or you have your friends list in the corner somewhere, kind of like how it is in Hearthstone. Click on it, you see whoever's online and on Battle.net across all the Blizzard games, and you just hit the, like Hearthstone, you just hit the button that lets you battle them, and it's basically kind of like you're queuing up like right there and then. It'll work for people that are in not only in it'll work not only for people that are in the mobile pet game, but for World of Warcraft as well. Say somebody in the mobile pet game invites you to a pet battle duel or something like that. It'll pull you both into an arena, World of Warcraft. Let's see World of Warcraft graphics. Pet battle. The pet battle mobile game will show you their style graphics, and it works across the internet like that. Let's see here. And then the PvP pet battles in World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft's queue are the same as the pet battles in the mobile game too. So if you're playing on the mobile game, you shouldn't be just pooled up against the people that are in queue just on the mobile game itself. You should expand that queue to World of Warcraft too. Just take those two pools and put them into one large pool and say, your matchmaking, your MMR rating is this. You're really good with pet battles. You've won this many. So you should be matched with this player because he's won this many also. You know what I'm saying? Could be something like that. Let's see here. PvE arenas. Now, on each continent, Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms, there should be somewhere on the continent that has its own stadium, like how it is in Pokemon. You're going for the league. You're trying to be the best of the best, but each continent has its own arena that determines that for that area. Or you can just put one massive one in the game. It don't matter. they could have special rules, like if you have like one on Kalimdor and one on Eastern Kingdoms, you can have special rules where you can only bring the pets from that continent into the stadium or something like that. Or you can just do one massive one where you can just bring anything you want, and whoever wins. You do stuff like that, but it's just for PvE. You're playing against the game, not other players. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. We're wrapping this up. Controls. The way I envision this game to be controlled. A lot of these games for the mobile games have this joystick that only appears when you touch the screen and you move. You drag your thumb across the screen. Something like that. For when you're in 3D mode, third person mode. And it appears when you're using it and disappears, when your hand's away. You know what I'm saying? That way, you're not taking up. Say you gotta look a certain direction, but that joystick's in the way. After you get done moving, it your character a certain way, and that joystick disappears, so you can touch and click on the item that's on the ground or something like that. Or you can have like a ultra cool and ultra retro top-down view, like the original Pokemon, where it's where it's based on up, down, left, right to move through the world. You could do something like that too. I think that'd be really cool. You just zoom out. You're going through. I'm trying to think how that would work in something like Elwyn Forest, where it's just nothing but treetop. But maybe you can see through the trees or something like that. The treetops are the how do you say it? The opacity, or they're the option that lets you see through shit. Sorry, my language again. Anyways, some way to so trees aren't blocking your entire view, and you're able to like explore the zones and stuff like that. Be kind of cool. Be kind of a interesting exercise for Blizzard to come up with a way to do that without it being so like intrusive and stuff like that. Maybe it's just just determining how opaque. I don't know. No, not opaque. I don't think opaque is the word. However see through that treetop is. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just finding the right levels for that. Just enough see through, but just enough to know it's there also. You know what I'm saying? See UI. The UI for the game, you can have your portrait character, or character for your portrait. You touch your portrait, brings up the gear, brings up the gear for your character. You can, and it brings up the your inventory screen, so you can automatically just switch your gear out, drag and drop your gear out, switch them out wherever. And you could, and this is just a thought, add a character level to it too. So what this level does is, while you're questing and stuff like that, you're gaining levels, and it allows you to, once you reach a certain level, it allows you to continue on to the next zone for more quest and story and stuff like that. But it also restricts you, so you're not like jumping from, say, your say you're an Elwyn Forest as a human, and you're trying to get to the burning steps right away to do the raid, you know, because you think it's going to be level 1 or something like that, like you are. But oh no, it's blocking you from going into that next level or that next area, and saying, oh, you need to be a higher level or something like that to do that. So you got to go back, you know, and do more pet battles and continue up with the story or whatever, you know, and hit that magic level number to where, you know, you can continue on to the other zones. That's kind of how I see it. Kind of like a level of progression how World of Warcraft is, but it's like a trainer level. You know, your trainer level needs to be up to snuff in order to go into the new trainer areas, or to the new zones. See, should have a button for your bags. Easy way to open up your bags. Should have a button on the screen for your pets. Open up your pet list. If you're connected to battle.net, you know, you should see your battle.net pets. All 600-700 of them, whatever. And there should be a button for options, you know, in the options menu. You can change your controls. You know, if you want the top down, you know, old school look, or, you know, if you want the new 3D, you know, moving through the world kind of Pokemon Sun and Moon kind of vibe, you can get that too. You know, you can choose which wherever, you know, and you can choose either or basically. And change your game brightness, log on and off battle.net, or quit the game. You know, nothing too complicated, pretty standard. Saving wise, when you say you move out an area without Wi-Fi, or, you know, whatever, you're not connected to the internet all of a sudden for some mysterious reason. You're not connected to the internet. Wherever you were, that's where you'll be when you come back. You know, it should work like World of Warcraft on the mobile game. Basically, it is World of Warcraft on the mobile game, except pet battles. And like I said, when I first started, you know, this idea pitch, it was mainly about, you know, Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms, because those are like the two main continents that were in World of Warcraft. Well, when vanilla World of Warcraft shipped, those are the two main continents. You know, you can add the later expansions later. You know, like Outlands. Say you bring in, you know, downloadable content that you can either buy or not, depending on how you want to set up that system. But later on, you can put in Outlands, Northrend, you know, all the expansion zones basically up until, you know, the Broken Isles. You know, and they all in every zone, you know, in every expansion, you know, instead of going through the expansion storyline as the hero, you're going through it as pet tamer. And like I said, you know, all this is going to be brand new story content designed around pet battles instead of being the hero in World of Warcraft. You're still the hero, but, you know, you're a hero in a different way because you're pet battling instead of just going tooth and claw and sword and shield with it. And that's pretty much all I have for a pitch for this mobile, for a mobile pet battle game that Blizzard can come out with. You guys could probably come up with a snappier name, like Warcraft Battler, or some stuff like that, or I don't know, something deal with Warcraft, anyways. But yeah, that's my pitch. I mean, I could have wrote it all I mean, I did write it all out, but they're basically, you know, like, you know, notes, like little phrases that, you know, I've been kind of going off of instead of like entire explanations. That way it's a lot shorter, but it didn't end up short. You know, I just ended up babbling on a whole crap load. Uh, I don't know if I want to talk about guild halls right now. Screw it. We'll talk about guild halls and we'll end this video. If you're still watching this, I can't believe you're still watching this. I know I'm a boring person, but yeah, guild halls. Guild halls. What can we talk about? Guild halls for World of Warcraft. I got a couple ideas, you know. Guild halls. Just imagine them like garrisons, except remove the command table or the mission table. Just remove the mission table. You don't need a mission table in your guild hall. Your guild hall, you know, you're not building a base for. You're not building a base. You're building a place where, you know, after a long days of fighting, you know, legion and dragons and monsters and stuff like that, you hang your hat. You know, you can have guild meetings in. You know, you can show off your trophies. Now people are now Blizzard's asking, you know, how are guild halls going to function in World of Warcraft? Well, besides carrying over the trophies and stuff like that, guild halls probably should have, you know, buildings and stuff like that that, you know, kind of coalesce into like a castle or something, you know what I'm saying? Or like a keep, but not as extensive as, you know, the garrison. Actually, the garrisons weren't too crazy. I mean, I guess you can say, yeah, make guild halls the size of garrisons. Garrisons were actually perfect size. Just don't add profession stuff into it. I don't want a garden in there. I mean, the garden was cool and it was convenient, but that just devalued the whole idea of herbalism. Don't add the mine. Don't add the herb garden. Even though I thought they were cool. If you're gonna add a garden, just add a garden that, you know, you can't pick the flowers, and maybe bring in that freaking tree, that apple tree that dropped bananas and all kinds of crazy fruit. Bring that in. That was a cool ass feature. Probably little used feature, but that was a cool ass feature. If you know, you weren't too big into cooking, you still got some stat foods. And as far as guild hall, the guild hall problem of who decides what gets built and where, I think you've kind of come to the conclusion without realizing it already. The players in the guild, not just the guild leader, but the guild as a whole, should decide. You've come to this realization, like, just like, look at the BlizzCon picture of what building up a base on the Broken Shore is going to be like. You already said you're going to convert Elven runes into like this base on the Broken Isle, or the Broken Shore, and you already had this like perfect UI for how this should go down. Like, you have like 3 buildings that you build up, and they have little progression bars, and you can just hit the contribute button on those profession, or you can just, whatever you want to focus on, just hit contribute, and it will give you a list of chores to do, and you go and do those chores, and you turn them in, and it contributes to increasing that bar, just, just a little bit or however much you want to do it. I don't think there should be a cap, honestly. I really don't think there should be a cap on um, on how much you can contribute to your guild hall in a day. Um, I think just building it as a kind of like a trophy and kind of like the buildings on the Broken Shore deal when he showed it at BlizzCon. Um, it had each building gave you some cool things, like this building gives you some quests that send you out in the world, or this building gives you access to portals, or this building gives you this cool thing, and you had to choose which you wanted to contribute into first before it's built, or you contribute to the building of it by doing these quests. And once you built the building, it gives you the bonus whatever that it gives you. Yeah, I think you came to it without even realizing it, Blizzard, but you've already built the perfect system for guild halls. That's a really solid basis between garrisons and this assault that um, you're planning for patch 6.2, or not 6.2, 7.2 for the Tomb of Sargeras. This little area that you're building up, and that whole UI thing, just take the option, the small, medium, and large building option out of garrisons, slot that choice option right there. So anytime the guild members go in there, instead of only one person choosing what buildings the guild gets and where they go, you know that you're going to get all the buildings eventually for your guild hall, but you can decide which ones get built first, by who contributes more to which building. You know what I'm saying? So everybody in the guild is contributing to it, not just one person. I mean, even though you could potentially, if you're a guild of one. Also, what the thing with guild halls is that you've concepted this really well with Warlords of Draenor, but never executed it. Is allow these guild halls to be placed in whatever give us a choice in Azeroth to place these guild halls in. I don't want my guild hall in Draenor with my sitting right next to my garrison. I want it in Azeroth, because that's where our home is, Azeroth, not some alternate timeline and who knows where Draenor. You know what I'm saying? Please do it like that. Make guild halls like that, something that everybody contributes into unlocking content that's exclusive to the guild hall, but doesn't suck you into staying in there forever. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make you stay there forever, and it also pushes you out into the world to do these quests in order to contribute to building up your guild hall. That's how a guild hall should be. Do that. If you want a clear-cut way of making a guild hall, do that. But anyways, I'm done ranting. I think I even actually, if you search up my name Realmweaver on from the Durotan server, So I know there's other Realm Weavers on other servers, but you search up Realm Weaver 010 on the forums. I'm pretty sure I made a comprehensive um, forum post a long time ago about guild halls and how they could possibly be integrated into the world and stuff like that. Basically reflect what I just said right now. But as far as the interface wise, I didn't know how that would proceed until I saw the interface for how we're going to build this base up and on the Broken Shore from the old Elven ruins. I didn't consider it until I saw it, at BlizzCon. So I think I had something like you had daily quests or something like that in my forum post. You had daily quests that you did, and you in order to build like certain buildings, but I didn't have like a UI or anything planned out or anything like that. It was just NPC right in front of that building. Oh, hey, we're building this. We need to build this. We need to get us some mats. And you run out and get X amount of mats and bring them back. That's that's that. But yeah, that's really it kind of consolidates all those NPCs and into just like a what do you call it, a user interface that you can see who's contributing to what more, instead of just randomly being annoyed and going to every single NPC in your guild hall that gives quests to contribute and find out which has the bigger bar. Oh, okay, well, all the guilds focusing on this, let's focus on this then. You know what I'm saying? It's all right in front of you. But anyways, I'm done with this video. I've gone on long enough. I think it's, geez, what's the video up to? What, 2 hours? 3 hours? Yep, 2 hours and 46 minutes. Dang. Alright. Well, if you've paid attention this long, thank you. I'm going to be bringing more content to this channel. Like I said, beginning of this this video, I also have a Twitch stream. You can check me out at Twitch at twitch.tv/realmweaver. Check me out over there. I love streaming. It's a lot more off the cuff than it is planning out or scripting these kind of events and stuff, videos and stuff like that. It allows me to just say whatever's on my mind. So if you kind of like that versus the more scripted stuff, come check me out. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.